All right, everyone. Welcome to Masculine Geek number 151. This is the Christmas episode, Masculine Geek Christmas episode, which everyone's been waiting for. We have some new faces and some old faces returning. We've got Rob, we have Robert, we have Nick, who's not showing his video at the moment. We have Amos, who you see in our D&D games. And we have another new face, Alex, who goes by the name of Swerve on Twitter. Say hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. How's it
Hi,
going?
son.
There you go.
Stop.
We'll explain that. We'll explain that later. But to kick this all off, Merry Christmas, everyone. It's not Happy Holidays. It's Merry Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everyone. Cheers to everyone on the panel. Raise your glass if you have one, and everyone in the chat who's watching and listening later, and you too, Mictibus. I see you there in the chat. So, Rob, you were talking about the little girl voice.
Yeah, some context for the guys that are just now joining the show since we went live. One of the women I'm seeing, she might just be a touch mental. I was telling these guys about, I'd met this woman. I call her red and black because of her hair. All right, she's got red and black hair. And yes, for all the spurgs who like to jerk off over multi-hair colored women, they can, pull their dicks out and start pulling. Because yes,
Co-parter.
co-parter and jerk harder, use sandpaper, preferably a 200 grit. But she might actually be just a little tiny bit mental, because I was giving these guys some details, and one of the things I noticed is right after she would have an orgasm, her voice jumps up like an octave, and she starts talking, and for about a minute, she sounds like she's like 6. She has this little girl voice, and it's just fucking crazy. And then it goes back to normal, and everything's, back the way it was. And I even had mentioned something to her last night about it, because she'd come over. And I was just like, what is it with your voice? Because you kind of sound like this little girl. And she's like, yeah, that's my inner 6-year-old, and she said it so matter-of-factly. And that's where there's a few different things that I'm not going to go into. But I honestly think this chick is actually just a little tiny bit mental. It's great.
Nice. It's just enough to keep things interesting and keep you from being bored. Yeah, right?
Definitely keeps me on my toes. And there's no weird psycho stalker stabby kill you vibe from this chick. Nothing like that, but just things are just a little bit akimbo, everything's a little ski-wampus. And it's like, okay, I think this chick is bona fide, actually a little bit mental.
Nice.
Compared to what the dickheads on Twitter, everyone's BPD. If she's not, sucking your dick or being, well, and even those women are BPD according to the assholes on Twitter.
I don't pay attention to people on Twitter.
I try not to anymore. I really don't.
It's like we were talking about. We mentioned before that all behavior has multiple causes, and like body language, behavior comes in clusters.
Yeah,
it's not just one thing. Oh, she's got red and black hair. I can't do whatever. Right. Sit down.
She's got red and black hair, and she's got tattoos. Yes, she's got a few tattoos, and she's got red and black hair. Don't care. Got laid.
Exactly. She's gonna suck the golf ball through a garden hose.
Oh, and according to somebody that says that if they shave, that you're like a pedo and
what? Bare floors for the win, you dumbasses.
Well, do you remember who said that, right, Vince?
No, I don't actually.
GB.
Did he? All right, he's a dumbass. I'm not gonna. I usually don't. I leave him alone. But that's a dumb thing to say.
Yeah, before he got kicked off Twitter, I think it was. He went on a whole tirade about, if women shave, they it's pornography and you're into porn and you're basically a pedo. And
no.
And I'm like thinking, what, you want to go back to the 60s or the 70s when the women didn't trim or anything? And we have
the monster bushes.
Yeah, the forest primeval going on. It's like, get the fuck out of here with that.
That's all you need is a mouthful of pews when you're going down on her. Jesus Christ. All right, so we do have a new face here. Alex, and I mentioned you when we first started. Do you want to introduce yourself, or you just want to just keep going with just the random talk?
I mean, we can keep listening to my dad's sage advice if you really like, but I mean,
Hey, won't explain, son.
That's right. It's Rob. Rob is Alex's illegitimate son
so
or
illegitimate.
father. I
But
should say.
goodness.
But
Yeah, I
I'll
know.
tell you, when Alex came to me and said, I think you're my dad. And I said, that's possible.
On his
Daddy!
doorstep, right? And he shut the door on me.
Well, that was after he said his mother's name, because I was like, tell me your mom's name, kid. And he did. And I was like, does she look like this? Is she about yay high? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, what do you want to know? And he wanted to do the whole why didn't you stick with my mom routine? And I was like, let me tell you a little bit about your mother. Okay. When we met, it was on the bar. All right. We were at the bar. And your mother could suck the chrome off a trailer hitch, kid. She was good for that. Tell her hi. Tell her I said hi.
Jesus Christ. Talk about undressing for sailors.
Yeah, she's about this high, red and black hair.
Has a high pitched voice when she comes. Yep, that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. La 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 la. It's not even my mom, and this is bad. Holy shit. How you doing, Nick? Amos, what are you guys up to?
I was good until I heard that.
I know, right? Jesus Christ. What are you drinking, Nick?
I'm drinking a mixture of honey, tea, and bourbon.
Oh, okay. I like it. What, are you sick? Was that like your version of a hot toddy?
Well, I spent the last few days with family. My throat's kind of worn out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a joke there, but I'll leave that one alone.
I was thinking of it too.
There's a joke everywhere, man.
That's true. That is true. And when you're on Masculine Geek, you wind up the butt of it.
I'm surprised this episode isn't sponsored by Bacardi, since it's number 151.
Right now, this one is sponsored by Durigote. It's a Argentinian Malbec, which I'm rocking.
It took me a little while to get on screen because when I came on before you launched the show, Rob was telling another one of those gut-wrenching stories. And when Rob talks about his relationships with women, they are always so poignant and emotional.
I know, right? You had to weep a little bit, didn't you?
I have a hard time, keeping the waterworks down, so I had to go on screen for a little while.
Well, he was crying himself an ocean behind him, if you look at it. So.
Yeah. Jesus. Is that one of your photos, or is that like a random backdrop?
No, that's those are the flats west of Key West where I was fishing with my son in 2018. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
How you doing, Amos?
Doing good. Yeah, it's pretty damn cold out there today.
I'm sure it is where you are.
Not too much going on. I was doing some work today and was having some thoughts about stuff I wanted to write for the coming year. So
cool. Very nice. Have you heard from Brooke lately? How's he doing?
So he started a new job, working from home. And he's just been really, really busy with that. So it's it used to be I could just text him whenever, but sometimes I'd be like, hey, I'm busy at work, can't talk, whatever. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool. Busy with work is not a bad thing. It means you're making money.
He was already doing that before work, but yeah.
Even more money. It's not a bad thing. How about you, Robert? What are you up to?
Just dealing with some family stuff and dealing with some stuff with a couple of my clients, trying to get them ready for the end of the year.
It is the end of the year. That's true.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Alex, when did you start following Masculine Geek? Because we've been talking on and off for a couple months now.
It's probably been just a couple of months. Maybe most of you guys probably noticed connections happening probably within the past few months. For me, I kind of recently came into the the non-existent manosphere, as a lot of guys like to call it. You know, pretty much somewhat recently getting red pilled, as they say. And you know, I was a geek before. I was an asshole before, so now I'm just an asshole geek that knew he was right before about the way people act, and it's nice to know it. And it's been nice to kind of find guys like you and other guys that are out there talking about stuff that always interested me before anyway, and it's been really cool. So yeah,
nice. You're in good company. Cool. Red pill wise, what was your introduction? Did you just stumble across something on the internet, or did you read a book? Or
I mean, I won't go into like the whole Batman origin story. I actually have a video somewhere about it, but you know, I found myself married in close to a dead bedroom, and I'm like looking at myself like, this is not how I want my life to go. So I started researching stuff and ended up finding, you know, different creators and stuff, and you know, guys like Rollo and stuff, and reading his articles, and that led me to come across guys like you and Ryan Stone, and I got an invite to that Your Turn Discord server that Dante runs, and that was probably one of the coolest thing that I've come across so far. A lot of guys here, like Nick and Rob, they like to shit on it, but you know, it's a good spot. It's a good spot for people to kind of begin a journey on it. But I mean, now that I've been there for a while, I can see what they're talking about. There's some idiots in there sometimes, but I mean, that's just how it is, you know. But it's been nice to know that all along my cynicism was correct about
you're
the way that
yeah.
the way that people think. Like I was right all along.
Well, it's nice to be able to find the words for the things that you were thinking about, and the beliefs that you had. It's like, all right, well, all right, now I can articulate what I was thinking. This is nice to have now.
Yeah, it's basically just kind of, it's been nice to find some common ground with other guys, just not just guys though, just other people that are like, I'm not sure what the wording is, but like I used to always think, like, can people really be this fucking stupid? Yes, they can. Absolutely, they can. Yeah, they can. It's true.
Vindication. That's the word you're looking for, Alex.
Yeah, I guess that's the one.
You probably grew up with everybody telling you when you would bring something up, they would tell you were nuts, you were crazy. And after a while, you shut your mouth because you got tired of people telling you you're crazy, and maybe you even started questioning yourself, thinking, God, maybe I am. Until you found like Rollo stuff, or you found, you know, one of these other guys, and they're nailing all the shit that you've been thinking and saying all along. And that's where I say it's vindication, because you're like, oh my God, I'm not fucking crazy. So yeah,
it's been really nice to be able to learn that it is true, and then it's made it so much easier to just let it go and just not let it kind of stuff bother me anymore.
Yeah, because you're young enough that you've been gaslit pretty much your entire life, at least in like Vince and Rob and I's case. Yeah, we were gaslit, but we, you know, some of that was because there was that shift from the way the old rules kind of worked in relationships and just in how you did things, you know, graduate high school, get a job, go to college, do all the things, and then be the nice guy, and the girl will be there, and you'll have your wife and your kids and the happy life and the picket fence and all that kind of stuff, which, you know, that was a black and white sitcom. That wasn't reality, but there were people alive who had something that at least looked similar to that. And in our cases, but I mean, in your case, yeah, that's just a sitcom on Nickelodeon late at night. That's not even close to what the real world is and how things work. So, you know, you've pretty much been gaslit your entire existence as far as that goes. So, but despite that, you could still see the truth of things, because, you know, look at a group of girls and how they behave. Look at a group of guys, how they behave. Look at how sports work. Look at how, anything works. Look at how the social dynamics of any group of your friends and, what really is, as opposed to, what some teacher's telling you it is, or somebody on, AOL is telling you it is, or, whatever your first internet experience was.
AOL, I love it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's true though. No, it's absolutely true.
Yeah, I mean, I could go to like a Usenet group or, Rec Arts, anime, Rec Arts, whatever, pre all that, but it's, it's a very different world, for you.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, don't listen to Rob, right? Because he's not going to tell you how old he was when I was conceived or anything, but most people guess that I'm a lot younger than I actually am. It's just this baby face. I'm 37, so I've been around long enough. But I mean,
Okay,
you are
you're up there.
correct. You are correct.
That's my son.
My son. How many sons do you have, Robbie? You're up there. You got a few now, don't you?
I'm not at liberty. My attorney has advised me to remain silent.
Gotcha. That means it's a lot. I
Rob spread his seed so much when he was younger that Jesus, we could all be his children.
I'm older than Rob, and he's my father.
Same with Nick.
Right?
I think I'm older than Vince and Rob, so.
But yeah, you kind of, Robert, you kind of touched on it where I've always noticed the way that people interact with each other. And that's kind of what my content's been about recently. The things that I've been putting out, Rob's come on my podcast, Nick and Bullrush came on my podcast, Jack Napier's been on it. And a lot of it has just been about just kind of how, not just the guys and the girls, because I mean, everybody here is pretty much over the laminate shit stuff, and we everybody talks about that kind of stuff. We're over that kind of stuff. I'm much more interested in how everybody interacts with each other. It's always been fascinating to me. So, but now, like, I've just been getting more and more knowledge and tools to use to my advantage. It's been great.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've got to apply it. You
Yep.
can't just gather the knowledge. You have to use it.
Absolutely. You have to take it out into the world and test it.
Yep.
I don't
Enough
know
about
the rest
me.
of you, but I think Swerve is either a federal agent or a pornographer.
He's
Probably both. Yeah.
Well, if he is a federal agent, then that makes him by default a pornographer.
Yeah.
So
a different sort.
that's that's how that works.
Like my dad said, I can neither confirm nor deny the lawyers,
Damn lawyers. Nice. So it's been a while since.
Where's Chesty?
Well, I was going to say, my counsel's not present, so before you guys ask me any further questions, Mr. Rockwell needs to be in the chat. That I can go ahead and go his advisement.
Only hire a lawyer who's also a brewer.
Exactly.
Oh,
It's the best of both. It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Let's send him an invite. He's always a good bloke to have on Masculine Geek. What the hell is this? Huh. I forgot that group still existed. Cool. Oh, fuck. All right, that's it. We're done. All right, Aaron. Okay. All right, Aaron, you can tweet. All right, so I get an email from Aaron. He doesn't reply all. He just replies to me in the email I sent out. He's like, "Well, I might be able to stop by." My response was, "Don't strain yourself." So he's out there straining himself on Twitter, but doesn't reply. It's unbelievable. Aaron is the Mr. Itinerary Man. Alex, as you have probably heard us bust on him numerous times. So, Aaron, if you're listening, the invite is in your Twitter DM. Make sure you scroll through your list and get the invite and join.
Aaron's perspective is that everybody works for him. So
it kind of, he does have that sense of entitlement, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
You have a question there, Amos. This is from Mictibus. This is directed to you. Did Amos ever get his nipple sewn back on?
Jesus.
So, well, yeah. Does everyone here know the story about my nipple that got ripped off?
Not everybody. I mean, I was present for it, and I wish I wasn't, but that's another story. Yeah.
No, we went out to Gettysburg earlier this year. I fell on a rock and hurt my nipple. So, and everyone thought I ripped it off or something, but no, it's being Mictibus is actually being held contained in cryogenic storage for posterity.
For future generations to enjoy.
Exactly.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Apparently, that's the direction this talk is taken. It's high octave crying, giggling women and nipples being ripped off. So there you go. Yeah.
Well, sometimes the two intersect.
Not very often, but sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Fantastic. And then, of course, Nick is strangely absent for the nipple talk.
He's crying again. He's crying.
He's probably weeping. He's weeping into his tea, honey, and bourbon.
All right. First of all, I've heard the nipple story. Second of all, I begged off because while I was up in North Alabama this week at my parents' place, I saw an owl fly by with a nipple in its mouth.
Oh shit!
And that freaked the crap out of me. I can't relive that.
You got some PTSD from nipples and owls.
I've got PTSD from skin curtains, as Rob knows about.
All right, hang on. All right. We've all interjected it and put into the system what we think skin curtains are. Do you want to explain this or not?
No.
I don't think it's suitable for public consumption.
I know what skin walkers are.
It's definitely ban worthy on Twitter.
I will do it. I will do it
on YouTube.
I will do it backstage privately.
There you go. Yeah, but
right.
don't do it live. There's children in the audience, and I'm looking at you, McTubus. So.
I was going to say the skin walkers.
I will say that skin curtains is exactly what it says. Skin curtains.
Okay, fantastic.
If you know, you know.
I have an idea now.
Yeah, we know now.
Yeah. You guys are fucking sick.
Well, that and my son's on the show, and he's already been scarred and traumatized enough. So
Are they Ed Gein brand skin curtains or
no?
No.
They're generic.
It's a perfectly lovely story. I mean,
I'm sure it is.
But it's the kind of story that, part of it I just need to keep it a little something for myself.
Rob is shaking his head at this. That tells you where we're going. That tells you what kind of story it is.
We're not going there live.
He's shaking his head.
We're not going there live. God damn it.
Oh Jesus Christ! All right, well there you go. That's we're gonna end the year with skin curtains.
It wouldn't be Christmas without skin curtains.
without the red and green skin curtain.
And you're lucky because when it happened, I started the year with skin curtains, and that ended up being a bad year.
And the thing is once you know, like Nick said, if you know, you know, and it's one of those things that. Every guy, if you haven't had skin curtains, you will. and it is the 1,000-yard stare. It is looking down death's door.
If you want to talk about a hard yeet twang, that was a hard yeet twang.
Yeah.
I'm always up for talking about a hard yeet twang.
I heard the hard yeet twang that day.
Did you? Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Somehow I slipped.
You slipped through those skin curtains and got out right quick.
I escaped the hard yeet. That's what I did.
I too have looked into the abyss, and the abyss looked back. So
wow.
You've heard of Eskimo Brothers, but that ain't got nothing.
Oh Jesus Christ!
You heard of Skin Curtain Brothers?
Stop! I know exactly what you're talking about now, and I'm mildly nauseous.
Rob may be your daddy, but he's my skin curtain brother. So
Yep.
Which did you take the front or the back, Nick?
It's all the same, Vince. That's the thing. It doesn't matter.
this was an existential brotherhood, not a physical one.
Gotcha.
Thank God.
Not a geographic and chronologic one. It is it's an existential one.
Yeah, because
Aaron, you're frozen.
I still understand that this story was supposed to be about a nipple.
Well, well. Speaking of nipples, welcome, Aaron.
Yeah.
I mean, it migrated like that owl with the nipples.
It was very natural. Yeah, it was very natural.
There we go. Speaking of nipples, how you doing, Aaron?
Doing good. I unfortunately cannot hook up my headphones, so you guys are also on the phone and the microphone, so I apologize for the audio quality.
That's right. We've come to expect shit from you, so it's not a problem.
All right, just like all your other books. That's that. I appreciate all the books, you guys. Out of curiosity, are you guys giving any orphans? You know, like when they did food drives at school, you give them cream of corn or beans. Is that like kind of your equivalent of books? Like people just give them to the homeless or something? What
I
are we?
give your books to the homeless.
We just give your books to the homeless. Yeah, it seems to be working out nicely, though.
You actually care. You care about them. Okay, good.
Well, we don't buy them. We steal them from the library and then hand them out.
I got an old lady who is totally not my demographic, and she's a mother of a friend of mine, and she's like, "Oh, I read your books; they're all great." I'm like, "You bought my books?" She's like, "Oh no, I got them at the library." I'm like, "You bitch."
That's nice.
She got him from a homeless person.
Yep.
She got him via communism.
Yeah.
Let me get out of here. I'm gonna try and get my headphones working. All right, okay.
All right. We'll see you in
I'll
a
be
few.
back.
Yeah.
This is the most fucked up Brady bunch you'd ever see.
I know, right? Well, Rob is the father.
Of all of us.
Yeah.
What about you? Dave? How are you?
This is the CNN staff meeting.
Mr. KZ Howell nailed it. Yep.
Right. This is the skin curtain
The skin
staff meeting.
fantastic.
Tennessee has entered the chat.
That's right. Talk about a hard D twang.
KZ don't play.
That's right. Shit. Well, let's invite KZ if he's available.
Absolutely.
KZ.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring you in, and here's James, because the first time we tried to bring him in, it didn't work.
Camera wasn't working.
That's all right. We got you now.
Jesus.
How's life in Tejas?
Perfect. A little expensive, but perfect.
Apparently expensive because your audio sucks.
One second.
Yeah.
Expensive
Everyone's
compared to
having fucking
Jersey?
audio issues today.
Right. Everything is expensive compared to Jersey.
Everything is expensive compared to living for free, though the lesson is that living at home is not living for free.
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I coming through all right? Is it coming through the snowball now?
You're better now. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good.
The snowball.
With that.
And now that we can hear you, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck
up.
up. Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out.
There's a meme for that, right?
There is definitely. We created memes for that. Plus, we have the audio when we were
There's like
down at the
80
village
different
by the
audio
sea.
versions. Vince could not get enough of it.
It's fucking fat. It's one of my favorite
Understandable.
audios. Yeah, exactly.
And it's so useful.
It really
That's
is.
the thing.
It really
Yeah,
is.
multifaceted,
Mm.
multifunctional. It's very.
It's the only thing that gives Vince a boner these days.
That is true. I have to play it before all my escapades with women.
I'm here for my friends. What can I say?
They're like, "What is that?" It's, shut the fuck up.
Did
Don't worry.
you not hear what he said?
Right? I always text James right before I'm ready to engage. Like, James, just text me because that's.
I
your
wish you would
ringtone.
stop that. I
know, right?
Hey,
Well, hey, I'm boning a lot, so I need your help.
Have you,
There
Vince?
we
Have you ever? I'm curious. Have you ever told a woman to shut the fuck up?
I always tell women to shut the fuck up.
Good man. Good
Yep.
man.
Yep. Telling a woman shut the fuck up should be on your lexicon of things
What
to
are
say
your-
to women.
What do your girls do when you say that to them?
They don't giggle in a high pitched giggle like a 6-year-old girl, like Rob's, but they do in a mischievous, laughing voice call me an asshole.
Well, Rob is a pornographer, so
Rob is definitely a pornographer.
That's a different story. Okay.
I'm a pornographer of my own making.
Mine. I've told little spur girl to shut the fuck up before, and she does the exact same thing. She giggles.
She giggles and says, "You're such an asshole. You're such a jerker."
No, she doesn't say that.
Gets that like that fake exasperated look on her face.
Nope, she doesn't say. She doesn't call me those kinds of names ever. But
no, you should be called those kinds of names.
Well, I am those kinds of names, but
you are. Speaking of those kinds of names, Aaron, you better now? You good?
I don't know. How's my audio? Am I interfering or interrupting anybody's audio?
No, it sounds good.
No, yeah.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
Yep, that's about it.
All
so
right,
where
cool.
you look, Aaron? You look like you're in a different location from normal.
I am. I flew back to Minnesota just 2 hours ago, so now I'm visiting the nieces.
Oh, okay.
And we played Evil Uncle Aaron, where I'm the evil uncle, and I chased the innocent princesses around, and they giggled, and they outlasted me. Uncle Aaron's pretty tired now, so
Gotcha.
yeah. But no, I'm glad I caught it, and glad the internet's working. But yeah, coming back for Christmas. So, and as any authentic USDA certified Gen Xer, I have to go to multiple Christmases because my parents got divorced and we remarry multiple.
You have to go. You have to go to like 4 different dinners now, don't you?
Right. Yep. So that's the obligatory. That's the true mark of TJ. His parents are still together, a nuclear family and stable. That doesn't qualify. You need divorced parents. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I not only have multiple families, I split up my own family, so I doubled down on top of it. So I get to
you have like 8
dinners. I get to deal with the mass scheduling craziness that always results in.
Hey Rob, where have you been? Are you all right? I saw you on Jack's show a while ago, but have you taken a sabbatical or something?
I just stay off Twitter.
Oh, sorry.
But otherwise, I've been living life, seeing women work and doing my thing. So
cool.
I'm still here. I just not as much on Twitter because too many people agitate me on Twitter. So
Spurge.
Yeah.
Spurge. Absolutely agree with that decision.
Indeed.
Twitter's fun though. Twitter's fun to me. Now that I understand what Twitter actually is, it's just literally just me staring at like this vibrating hive brain of idiots all the time.
Well, there's that.
And once you accept
that,
like Twitter's actually a lot of fun to just kind of poke at people and let idiots respond to you, and then you just hit like to the stupid shit that they say. It's so much fun.
Twitter's a lark. It's like a non-serious group of spurgs. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, you want to see a true group of spurgs? Wait for February. Is February or June Gay Pride Month?
You would know.
No, that's why I'm asking. I truly I think it's whenever it's Gay Pride
your
Month.
Invitation.
No. February's it's Black History Month, right?
February's Black Month and June is Gay Month.
Okay, maybe it's June then. But every Gay Pride Month, whatever month that may be. So I did a tweet one time. About
I said something about "fuck you, Target." I just wanted to buy some goddamn.
Right. So that thing went
blew up.
viral. Yeah, that thing went viral, and I took it down because you never know what offended Fraggy Vaggies are going to file complaints. I'm like, all right, this isn't worth it. But they screenshot it. So every Gay Pride Month, not the gay community, but we're talking the truly mentally ill, debatably not even bi or gay. I mean, just people who are straight who claim to do that because that's their value. They come out and I get a ton of hate mail. And then for fun, like death threats and all that. So for fun, click on their profile and holy shit, you look at these people are like, you're not bi or non-binary. You're just mentally ill.
Yeah,
because I know gay people. Yeah, I know gay people. They're normal people, healthy people. You are just like a princess, and you have a full beard, and
They're
who
not
are
as
fat.
offended. They're not as
Yeah.
offended as everyone thinks they are. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So
I mean, on the flip side,
it's a
if
circle.
you couldn't have somebody who was both mentally ill and hyper invested in a single element of their sexuality, we wouldn't have half of the manosphere. I feel like they could play both sides.
Yeah,
It's possible. It's possible. That's,
Where we wouldn't have Goldman if you couldn't be hyper invested in your sexuality and also have some form of mental retardation. I just
Goldman Unleashed?
I like Goldman.
Yeah, I like Gold. Are we talking Goldman Unleashed? Or are we talking a different Goldman?
Goldman Unleashed.
Same guy.
What yeah, but what happened? What happened to
really
him?
sad when there's a trad private, and I'm the religious guy on Masculine Geek, so I don't
He
want to
found God, Aaron. He found
my church
God.
AIDS.
Wait, he went Roosh?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I had
He
no
went- He
idea.
pulled a roosh.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought he was Jewish.
Either way, he found Allah or Yahweh or whatever he did.
Jesus. He found Sauron.
The
Mhm.
benevolent spirit of the universe.
An STD.
Jesus.
Well, I think STDs have resulted in more people finding God than missionaries have, haven't they?
Well, they usually pray about it. Yes.
Well, listen, guys, I want to stop in, say hi, and Merry Christmas, and thanks for having me on. But I got to get back to family stuff. But I saw the tweet come in, so I appreciate you having me on.
Well, thanks for gracing us with your presence, Aaron. It's always a pleasure to talk and see you.
Okay, what's wrong? Something's wrong. Where's the knife? Where's?
No, you're still a dickhead, but I mean.
Thank you. Okay,
There you
now
go.
I feel safe. Now I feel all right.
You schlong liquor.
All right, good. I can sleep soundly now.
All right, there you go. I wouldn't want to interrupt your beauty rest.
All right, I'll
Your-
see you
your
guys.
4-hour naps and fats.
Take care,
later.
Aaron.
There.
All right, see ya.
Have some rum on me, dickhead.
That McTubus pretty much nailed it there, didn't he? That's pretty savage.
Right.
Yeah, Goldman unstuck. No shit. Yeah, he found the God pill.
Goldman unstuck. Oh, boy.
Mm,
That's funny. Oh shit. What's everyone's Christmas plans? You guys hanging out? I mean, obviously some people with family and whatnot, but
I'm gonna find the God pill. I
you
need
gonna find the
to-
God pill?
I need
Oh, okay.
I need to pull a Goldman. I need to pull a Roosh. I need to rebrand. So I think I'm gonna get religious.
So it's not going to be robsays.net anymore. It's going to be robpraise.net.
Right.
It's going to be close.
Rob says prayers.net.
There you go.
Ooh.
We'll finally have a
Trademark
pastor
that sucker
podcast
now.
for Aaron's
Right.
You could really mess with us.
project.
RobNeals.net.
Oh no, no,
No,
I
that's
still
sexual.
don't need- I
Yeah.
still
He's already got that
He already
domain
has
saved.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he already exactly. It's a private.
He was living on GoDaddy.
That's his OnlyFans account.
Son,
Oh,
do I need to show the pictures of you when you were 3 and you were shitting in your pants? Because I will.
What, 2 days ago?
Yes.
I'll make it my profile picture.
I'm going to say that's just a really good weekend. That's
It's not a good weekend unless you're shitting your pants.
You only shit your pants once? That's a
Right.
good day.
Wow.
Multiple sharts for the win.
Well, what about you,
Jesus.
Vince? What are
It's
your
Southern
plans?
cooking.
I'm sorry, I heard my name.
Yeah,
what are your
about you?
holiday plans?
What do you got going on?
I'll probably be hanging out with a buddy of mine on Christmas Eve for a little bit, and then I'll come back to my place, get the fireplace going, and I like to watch Charles Dickens' The Christmas Carol with George C. Scott. So a ritual I
best one.
have. That's one of the best ones.
Mm.
Saturday, my main girl's coming over with dinner and dessert, and there will be some tomfoolery going on. So there may or may not be pictures and video involved. We'll find out, or you'll find out. Let's see. So, but yes, it's a pretty sedate, solitary weekend. I usually spend usually the holidays I spend myself. Perhaps like in this case, the tail end of Christmas Day will be the main girl coming over. Sunday I'll be doing I'll probably be doing a bit of writing on Sunday. I have off tomorrow. I'll probably be doing some writing. I have a few other business ends for Masculine Geek Life to attend to, so it'll be a busy 4 or 5 days. But as far as family is concerned, I have no family to speak of. My family is before me, as it were. and the friends I have in flesh and blood. So sometimes losing family, whether that's through a death or you cutting them off, obliges you to make your own family. And I've done that with my friends. I've done that with it. Cheers. I've done that with Masculine
Cheers,
Geek,
everybody.
everyone here, and I've done that with some friends I've known for years. So sometimes you have to say "fuck blood family."
The way I described it to someone once was, blood doesn't mean it doesn't do any good for you without heart, because your heart pumps the blood throughout your body. So
Yeah.
just claiming blood doesn't mean anything without the heart behind it.
That's very
I
true.
like that.
Yeah, it's very true.
Short and sweet. I
Mhm.
like it.
Don't forget the liver.
That's right.
Especially with this group.
Short and sweet. How I like your mom's.
Pumping other toxic substances from my body.
I mean, she is Asian.
Yeah.
She's definitely short.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I'm going to spend Christmas with Texas Tomboy. Turns
That
out
was my
Christmas
next
shopping
question
is
to you,
really,
James, yeah.
really easy
Yeah.
for Tomboys. I just add to a given collection of either knives or animal skulls at a given time.
Handguns and arrow points and all
Exactly.
kinds of stuff. Yeah. There you
I
go.
genuinely consider getting a handgun. I'm not a Texas resident yet, I don't think, so I can't do that.
Mm.
But I thought it would have been really funny.
What's the prerequisites for becoming a Texas resident then? After you
I'm
move in?
gonna find out.
Probably have to be in Texas for a certain amount of
I'm
time.
probably gonna go to, instead of looking online, I'm probably going to go to a sporting goods store and be like, hi, I'd like to buy this firearm. Here's my ID and stuff like that. And they'll say, oh no, you need to do X, Y, and Z first, and then you'll count as this. Because I know
in
they'll
Texas,
do it
they
like
have like
that.
step-by-step directions on how to get a gun. So yeah,
Exactly.
good.
And there's no way I'm going to find that on any government website.
You
Not
should,
really.
as soon as you
No,
can get a driver's license, you should be able to get
All
a
you have to
gun
do
in
is
Texas.
ask Bull Rush.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah, unfortunately, the motorcycle is not coming down before Christmas, but it is coming down shortly afterwards, apparently.
That was my next question. You're reading my mind, you asshole. You.
Yeah, they loaded it up yesterday, I think it was.
Excellent.
It went very simply. Janice, have my shit down here by the 15th.
Nice.
And suddenly the problems were solved.
Now, what's
Solutions
the requirements
were invented
for?
on the fly.
Nice. What's the requirements for motorcycle endorsement in Texas?
So either I can get an endorsement or I can get a standalone license. It's much the same. Besides that, it's much the same as New Jersey.
Hmm.
Written test, witness test,
Hmm.
or whatever it is. You have your eye and knowledge exam, and
That's
then you
easy,
have
yeah.
the observed test, and you can waive that with the
If you take the
motorcycle
class.
safety course.
I
which
would
is
suggest taking that.
right, and it's identical to that of, and I will be taking that. I will likely be riding the bike before that, but don't tell anybody.
Shh, you already did.
I'd never break the law.
Well,
Why?
that's how you notice.
The difference between here and New Jersey is that it's about $200 cheaper than it is in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Nice. I look forward to hearing all about your adventures then.
Absolutely, which you can probably hear about. So, two things. I am going to start writing newsletters again. I don't know. Have the newsletters been going out?
I haven't sent one out since October. So,
You could have just
Yeah,
sent out
September.
bupkis.
yeah, I just send out bupkis. Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah, I haven't had much to write, and it's the newsletter will always be there. It probably won't be. I'll be making an announcement since we're talking about. I'll be making an announcement to everyone and Masculine Geek Life and here and blah blah blah. But the newsletters will be sporadic. They'll still happen, but they won't be as regular. So it won't be as regular
Quality,
as your bowel movement. But the quality of our newsletter is good.
I might be able to pump them out once a week at this point.
Oh, okay. If you've got content, let me know and I'll share a doc out with you, and away we go.
Absolutely. The one thing I won't be talking about is one adjustment I'm making in my discussions online and stuff like that. Is anything I'm doing sexually currently gets put on the back burner online until either the thing ends, the thing with the girl ends, or a year passes. Because I had a shit ton of spurts. It got through the filter and onto my feed. And I just saw like shit fights going back and forth and back and forth.
Really?
I blocked about 40 accounts in a day, and I said, okay, this will no longer come from me.
Holy shit. Wow. Spurgs and retards.
And I talk about it often, but I was planning on it. And then
Yeah.
I saw that. And
Yeah.
I'm taking this as a sign from God to not do that.
Fair enough. Or a sign from, Rob.
A sign from Rob.
Sign from Rob. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Dad.
Exactly. Shut the fuck up.
Were they just jealous or being like hypercritical or what?
No, they weren't even talking to me about it. It was just like some dude would say, think of all the shit that you've seen in the how would you open
Mhm.
tweets
Yeah.
just applied to some dude talking about fucking his girl.
Mm.
Or how many girls he's fucked or what he did recently.
Mhm.
There's like this baying of hounds of all these guys that jump out and like, I need to signal how red pill and in group I am. Or not in group, because there is a Twitter in group, and it applies. Those are the rationalists and the post-rationalists, who are delightful people, by the way, because they don't engage in any of this horseshit. And they're just fun to talk to and be around. But just these guys who are like going to jump in and bark, more or less.
Yapping dogs.
Right? Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I read this line in this book. I'm going to tweet this out now because somebody mentioned something.
Mhm.
It got really annoying because the one thing I will talk about is I've been thinking a lot about like the things that I've learned from Vince, from Rob, from the folks on this panel, from the Red Pill space, from the Manosphere, whatever we want to call it, basically from Rollo and his associates. Which I'm really appreciative of is more concepts are clicking with me. I've discovered as I apply the definitions of these concepts in reverse to things that I've been doing that seem to match up with them.
Mm.
But didn't happen the other way around. Where like I thought XY's, I was thinking about amused mastery when I did this. And now I've been practicing amused mastery. I think no, I was doing XYZ. I'm still doing XYZ, and that seems to match up with the definition of amused mastery. And sort of matching the advice to that, which is fun. It's not foolproof by any stretch of the imagination, but it's basically self-evaluation of have I been doing XYZ and do my values, do my whatever match up with this.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we were talking about the whether or not you'd call your girl cute. Well, usually no, because cute is not the ideal standard for a compliment and stuff like that. But with me, and this is one of the times I'll break my rule. With me and Texas Tomboy, we're constantly antagonizing and trolling each other.
Mm-hmm.
So when I call her cute,
that's different context.
It really annoys her. But she knows that I know that it really annoys her.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows every time I call her cute, I'm trying to press that fucking button that makes her really angry, which looks adorable when she does it.
You can read this one out loud, James. It's for you.
Why does James look like a soccer mom going through test replacement therapy? I guess I am.
Good old bull rush.
I can hear the minivan from here.
Right? Not gonna lie, he looks kind of cute.
Somebody needs to ban Bull Rush.
Yeah,
Put him in timeout for a little while.
We're the mods. We're the mods taking care of this. That's what we pay you for.
It'd be the next flight out of the state.
Right? Oh shit, that's too funny.
It's not even Pride Month.
I know. You have to wait till June to talk about those things.
How could you?
Got to hold on to that joke till June.
Speaking of like Pride Month and stuff, Nick August actually dropped a bomb onto Twitter earlier, and I feel like it went pretty unnoticed, talking shit about calendars.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Nick, could you maybe flesh that out a little bit? Like, why do you hate the Mayans so much?
Or Caesar.
It's not that I hate the Mayans or Caesar. It's that the popularization of calendars. First of all, that was largely done by the church, at least as we know it. But that's a separate argument. My whole point is that you shouldn't look at your life, or you shouldn't look at life in general, as this endless cycle that repeats itself every year. You should look at it as a succession of days. And the calendar is a mind fuck to keep you from looking at your life as a succession of days, so that you have a certain number behind you and a certain number ahead of you. So at the end of the year, people can leverage that in all kinds of different ways, such as, you got to level up in the new year. What did you do this year? Did you fuck it up?
Not going to make it.
Next year's the year you're going to get unstuck. And it's really, and the church did this too. It's really just a tool for selling you bullshit and keep you thinking about somebody else's days rather than your own. So if we're going to take it seriously, that's the serious part of it.
Gotcha. All right, fair enough. It's a rather existential take. I like it.
I don't know. Something.
Indeed.
It's worth thinking about, certainly. As you go into the new year, have you been putting something off for the new year for the past year?
Yes.
That you put off the year before that?
The next Punch Riot episode.
That's why Nick wants to take calendars out.
Yeah.
Why, yeah.
And he brings out the pipe.
2020,
This is a Norman Rockwell moment right here. Someone get a screenshot of that shit.
Don't worry, Marty's in the chat already jerking off to all of us here, apparently.
Right.
So basically, years are only good for measuring how long you let your bourbon age. Is that about it, Nick? Or
And your cigars, for that matter.
But you don't even need that, because you could use days. You could just say, this bourbon has been aged for 3,650 days. You don't really need years.
Well, yeah, it's true. I mean, and Nick and Bullrush came onto my show and we were talking about, sports memories for a little while there. And we were talking about how the moms always wanted to get the pictures taken. And that's kind of what it's all about. It's just sort of a measurement, a snapshot in time of how things are. Oh yeah, you remember 2020? Well, it wasn't as bad as 2021. Yeah, it's just a way to look back on how shitty things were.
That visual, tangible way to compare things. Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed. Definitely agree. All right, what the fuck is this? What the fuck? Shut the fuck up. What the hell's going on here?
Who sent you something?
Continue on amongst yourselves.
Did we go through everybody's Christmas plans? Who we got? We got Vince's hanging with a friend. I'm hanging with Texas Tomboy. Who else do we got?
Well, I have a full weekend with interspersed with some solo projects. Yes.
Excellent.
So. Yep.
My Christmas is pretty much on the fly, depending upon a lot of things. I was almost not going to Christmas this year because of family.
You're going to
And
humbug
now I
it?
might go to Christmas because of family.
so Amos, even though you're not Jewish, do you still eat Chinese food around Christmas time, or no?
So
He doesn't eat Chinese food on Christmas time.
So I didn't have turkey for Thanksgiving. I had dumplings. So
Really?
yeah.
Turkey dumplings?
And not turkey and dumplings. We're talking
like, I think it was pork. Maybe it was pork. Pork or beef. One of those. We did a very non-traditional Thanksgiving, and we'll probably do somewhat of a non-traditional Christmas.
Okay.
If I go.
No, you're saying if you go to Christmas as if it's a destination.
Yeah.
You're talking about your family.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you wouldn't celebrate it by yourself.
Holidays are really weird for me this year. And I know I just said year, but it's this time of year just kind of seemed really odd with holidays. A big part because of family. I honestly was just thinking about going off and doing something on my own that had nothing to do with the holidays. Just be somewhere else. But they're kind of convincing me otherwise, so we'll see.
Well, Aaron's in Minnesota. If you want to get together and go look for your nipple.
I mean, there's the gay 90s in Minneapolis, but I'm not going.
Okay.
It's probably best to stay away from that. Unless you're wearing the special San Francisco police butt guard.
Yeah. Well, if you're going into downtown Minneapolis, you might as well do what they're doing in California, which is pop your trunk open so you don't get your windows busted.
I know, I saw that. That's like, well, no, I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, that was a thing to do with your glove box. You would leave that open so like a potential idiot could see, all right, well, there's nothing in there worth taking, so I'm just going to pass by this car. Yeah.
I was down in Oklahoma City last month for a couple weeks and was staying at a hotel for work. And one night I just went back to my hotel room and my dumbass forgot to lock the door.
Oh, shit.
My car. Nothing valuable was in there, which is good. I mean, and the car is not a really valuable thing itself. I come back the next morning and it just looked like my car got trashed, but everything was still in there.
Oh, shit.
Someone just went through and flipped everything around and found nothing and then left it as is.
Damn. Well, it's rather fortunate. There's no any damage.
Yeah, no damage either. That's the thing. So, yeah. Oklahoma City for you.
Apparently, I've never been to Oklahoma City. I can honestly say that. So there you go.
Oh, by the way, Bull Rush, if you're still here in the chat, I got your cigar, dude. I just wanted to, give you a heads up. I checked the mail shortly after our last episode where we talked about the cigars, and I'm saving it for a special occasion because the smell of it is amazing.
Oh, cool.
And I should point out that check the mail and cigar are both euphemisms.
Yeah,
that's definitely code.
That's up there with skin curtains and skin flaps.
Yes. All part of the same lingo. Bull Rush gets it. He understands.
Indeed. Talk about STDs. Jesus Christ.
Bull Rush gets the skin flap.
Okay. Penicillin fixes everything, Vince. You're okay.
That's true. That and the Zithromax is the massive dose of the penicillin. Lost in the Wild. You seem familiar. Does anyone know Lost in the Wild?
He's active in Dante's Discord there. He's very active over there. He's a good dude. He's pretty switched on.
Okay, we're getting some crossover.
Yep.
Cool. Welcome. Good to see everyone in the chat. Correct. It's 10 p.m. here too. And I'm sorry I missed you, Alex, when TJ and I were up in New Hampshire, but
yeah, it's fine, man. It was super last minute.
It really was, yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, you're coming up here. Well, you're passing by me. If you pass by me at a reasonable time, we'll make it work.
Exactly.
We'll get it next time. It's all good.
Yeah, we'll do a meetup out on the Northeast.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Hey, Alex, how long have you been doing your podcast?
Not very long. So last year,
which is when he graduated from high school.
Damn it, Dad! Stop!
Leave me alone, Dad.
You're embarrassing me in front of my friends. No. So last year, I was heavily investing my time into actually live streaming an online card game. And I still play it to this day, but in my sort of red pilling Batman bullshit, whatever happens, Rob was there. He'll tell you all about it. But
no,
in that whole thing, yeah, he won't explain.
Won't explain, yeah.
But yeah, in that whole thing, I'm like, nah, I'm not really going to be interested in doing this kind of stuff anymore. And
what game was it?
Legends of Runeterra. So it's the Riot Games card game. I was like top 0.01% of the United States player base, like really heavily invested, and I kind of got to that point of the dead bedroom, like we had talked about, and I kind of just dropped that off to the side. So now my podcast has been on no regular schedule. It's basically just been like, I really want to talk about this. I look into, the sphere of guys around me in the manosphere and basically just pull from them and say, hey, can you come on with me? I want to talk about this. And they say yes. So I've got a couple of full episodes. The first one was with Rob, which Rob, I still plan to go back and actually clip that apart and produce some separate videos with it, with some
Nice.
sexy B-roll. So that will happen. But the next episode is sort of planned with a guy named Shrike. He's in the Discord as well, talking about just being on autopilot and how kind of dangerous it can be to certain guys. And it was supposed to air last Sunday, but it's such a huge topic and I hadn't had the time to fully research it, so we postponed that. But yeah, it'll be coming out hopefully in the beginning of January, and stay tuned for stuff with Rob as well and clipping that stuff apart. I still have things with Nick and Bullrush to clip apart as well, so a lot of stuff's going to be coming out, and it's going to be a lot of fun talking about just how people interact with each other. It's going to be a good time.
One thing I do want to add to that, Alex, where you're talking about the whole autopilot thing, you said it's dangerous for some guys. I'm going to actually go out on a limb here because I think I know what you're talking about. I personally, from my own experience, can say it's dangerous for all guys.
Yes. Yeah, I can agree with that. But most, not most, but a decently sized minority of guys are able to at least understand the danger of it and avoid it. So
So when you talk about autopilot, are you also thinking about, getting that point in your life where you're comfortable, when you don't have that drive or that hunger anymore to do things? Because it's like, no, I'm good now. I'm comfortable.
For me, it's more and this is in I don't know what Shrike and Alex have, what their take is or what they're going to go on. That's going to be their thing. But when I think of autopilot, for me, it's specifically about relationships. It's about dealing with women. And I know I tend to get complacent. I tend to get very routine. I get lazy. And that's usually when it's monogamy or it's some kind of a committed long-term relationship, because I've had a couple in the more recent past, like within the last decade, and then, including Alex's mother, and a bunch that goes back to when I was much younger. And that's where I had to realize the common denominator was me. And it's because I would tend to get complacent and get very into a routine, because I know a lot of guys like routines. I know, like with my job, I like my routine. Not that I can't adapt and improvise, because I do, but it definitely kind of for a moment can throw a wrench into things, and it irritates the fuck out of me, where I'm just like, I just want this to go as it normally does. And that's kind of how relationships can be for me, especially something where you're cohabitating, you're married, you see her day in, day out, you get comfortable where you're like, okay, good. I got it on autopilot. And that's when shit can go south, at least from my experience, if that's kind of in the vein that Alex is.
That's a large reason why it got postponed, because the idea of going on autopilot is so far spread across everything that we do throughout our days.
Right.
And basically it could talk about anything, because from the research I was doing is that, things like driving, you go out on the highway, you know where you're going, you finally get there, you don't remember how you got there, you just drove there because you were on autopilot. And our brains are built in a way where that is really where you want to be with certain tasks like driving,
Well, yeah, it's conserving energies, basically.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
but our brain is wired to survive in a certain way where the autopilot is going to turn on for things that you don't really want it to, and it's kind of like the movie Click with Adam Sandler. If you ever seen it, it can be dangerous for certain guys because
Yeah.
even like with when you're training, like if you're not switched on and you're bench pressing a little bit above where you should be, or not should be, but normally do, and you're pushing that, if you're not fully focused on your form, you're going to hurt yourself. And that's when
Exactly.
autopilot can really hurt you. But it helps you in certain things, it hurts you in other areas, and paying attention to when your brain is doing it can be extremely beneficial to you. And now that I've actually just kind of had that thought in the past couple of months talking with Shrike about it, it's been a big improvement for me personally. And it's probably going to end up getting broken down into all sorts of different episodes because it's very widespread.
I'll speak to what Rob's saying in a minute, but first, James, you want to read the Tempest's super chat?
Absolutely. So the Tempest 5555 says, "Merry Xmas, my fellow degenerates. Enjoy your cold holidays while mine are warm. Mine are warm too.
Enjoy
The weather down
yours.
here in Texas is delightful.
Enjoy your. I think Tempest, you're out in Australia, right?
He's out in Australia.
Enjoy your lockdown. But thank you for the
Bless your heart, Tempest.
Bless your little heart. I thank you for that.
I would mail you a care package. You might get.
It wouldn't get there.
We
don't know the address to your gulag.
Yeah, I never thought I'd see the day where it'd be illegal to waltz Matilda in Australia. That's just very sad. Very sad day indeed.
But to speak to what Rob's saying, I have a tendency to do the same thing. And Nick and I talked about this recently about setting a precedent. In a relationship, if you set a precedent for something, you have a tendency to kick into autopilot with it because it's easy, it's predictable, you don't expend energy, and the woman, your girl or girls, they come to expect that. So one of the best things you can do when you're in a relationship is to not set a precedent, or if you do, to quickly change it up very, very fast.
Yep.
No, go ahead.
Oh, what we're talking about, that's a good point, because what the woman wants to do essentially is kind of take over the relationship, but not take over the relationship. She doesn't want to be, she doesn't want to feel like she's in charge, but she still wants to be in charge. And there are certain things that she wants, like, regularity, communication, having dinner together every day, whatever it might be. And the way that, one thing Vince and I talked about, which is something Vince and I do, and I think Rob kind of does this too. I'm not positive, but I think so, is that, like what I do with mine is I make getting together an event, not a habit. Correct. And so we get together, whether it's for 2 hours or 2 days or 2 weeks or whatever it is, there's a reason we're getting together. We're getting together to have a good time or to do something, specific. And then when that time is over, she's gone and I'm back doing my shit. And the thing that you find out when you do it that way, rather than just having, well, whose house are we going to eat dinner at tonight kind of bullshit, which if you're married, that's a different story. But, if you're not married, that's the way I prefer to handle it. And when you do that, one of two things happen. Either she gets frustrated and quit because she can't have it the way she wants it, or she just is always genuinely looking forward to seeing you, is happy when you're together. And when she starts getting a little antsy again, you get together again and you have a great time, but you don't get into routines and shit with each other.
Exactly.
And that's very easy to do when you're not married or cohabitating. Now, if you're married and cohabitating, obviously, I think you have to do the same things, but there's a different way to do it.
Correct.
I mean, what's his face? Sam Perrion has talked to us about that. Basically, his strategy for letting the girl miss you a bit.
And giving you and letting you miss her, because that's important too, because if you do that, what you find is you do get into a rhythm, but it's a rhythm based on what you really want, to quote Master Rob, and when you get together because you both miss each other and you want to get together again, whether it's been 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 months, then at that level everything works really, really well.
Well, it becomes, what happens is when a woman is really into you, genuine desire, wants to tear your clothes off, she wants to be with you all the time, everywhere, and wants to know as my father used to say, the ins and outs of the cat's ass.
Yeah.
And it's your job to not let her know that. It's your job to not give in to that. Now, it's easy to go all in, because Rob's talked about this and I've done this. You go all in. When you go all in, you get into a rut. She knows all about you. There's no mystery. There's no surprise. There's no, as Nick would say, there's no events. So I what I've been doing lately is metering out, and lately I mean the last 5 to 6 years specifically, is metering out my attention. And a lot of it is based on whether or not she's been a good girl. She gets a little bit more attention. That could be something as a text. That could be as a little more solidified as a dinner out, dinner and drinks. It depends. But those things have to be. You have to be judicious with your time and your attention. It's
well, of
easy
course,
to get,
it's
easy. God damn it! Go ahead, finish your sentence there, Nick.
I was interrupting you, so go ahead.
All right, I'll finish my sentence and then you can take the floor. There you go. How about that? Now I don't know what the fuck I was going to say because I'm an old man and you completely blasted it out of my head, you son of a bitch. But you know what? Here's
because when you take charge of the whatever.
I don't fucking know. Jesus. Hang on.
You said something about when you let her peg you on a regular basis, and then I'll cut you off.
We would have to ask Aaron about that, and fortunately he left. So, yeah. I don't know what the fuck I was going to say. So you go ahead and finish your sentence there, Nick.
All right.
No, you don't even know.
Well, no. I mean, my point was that that's something that I discovered organically with Little Spur Girl was that I deliberately, and I've done this with others, but the thing you have to remember about this is that a lot of women are looking to either lock somebody down for their middle and old age, or they have some other need they're trying to meet, which is fine. But when you do that, most of them are eventually going to get tired, and they want somebody there. They need somebody there every day to download all their bullshit from the day and to feel safe and whatever other bullshit that they come up with. And so my experience has been that most are going to eventually leave, but at least when they do, it's it tends to be after a little while, and it tends to be they don't get as butthurt because you're not locking them out. You're just telling them this is as far as we go right now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of women won't be into that after a certain amount of time. Now, Little Spur Girl has been fine with it so far, and it's been 3 years, but she's also recently moved away, so we only see each other whenever I feel like going to Florida. And so it turned into a different thing, but but see, that's the thing. It's also not a long distance relationship because she basically just moved away, and I said, yeah, let's still see each other. And so there's no expectation of her calling me every day and talking about everything that happened during the day and all this other crap. It's more like we keep loosely in touch, and then every month or so
play house.
I feel like a vacation. I go down there and play house. Now that doesn't work for everybody, but for the time being, that works fine.
No, I totally get that, and that's and I think I not putting words in Rob's mouth, but I can speak for him as well. That kind of scenario works well for us. That's ideal, and I've designed my life that way. And
I want to add to what you just said there with what you just said, Vince, and also with what Nick said, because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. To go back to what Nick said about a lot of women, you know, they can't do that type of thing. You know, they're looking for the safety, security, comfort, whatever it is. When you choose a lifestyle like mine and Vince in particular, because Vince and I have talked at length about this, so I'm fairly confident and fairly comfortable in kind of speaking on Vince's behalf here.
You totally can, absolutely.
Okay, and to a certain degree, I feel that Nick's in the same boat, based on what I've heard him say in the past and some of the different conversations he and I have had on and off over the last year or so, especially in regards to Little Spur Girl. So I kind of think Nick's in the same boat too. When you choose a life, and it is a lifestyle, really, you know, Rollo brings it up. He talks about spinning plates. That's the term he gave it. When you choose that as a lifestyle, there's a lot of benefits to it, because you figure out that's where you can ultimately learn that whole abundance mindset is a nice little trigger word, buzzword. But there's also a lot of drawbacks. When you have been raised and conditioned that you are supposed to date one woman at a time, to do serial monogamy, because that's how I was raised. That's how everyone on this panel at some point was raised and told that's how you relate, is you date them one at a time, and with the ultimate goal of playing house and getting married. When you choose non-exclusivity as a lifestyle, you forego a lot of those things. You sacrifice those things because you know ultimately, yeah, I ain't gonna do that. Okay. But even when you're first unplugging or whatever, a lot of guys I've seen, because I've even been guilty of it when I was younger, you spin plates where you're seeing 2, 3 women, whatever, and immediately there's one out of that little batch that really strikes your fancy or whatever. Really, you have a connection or whatever. Or she's just really fucking hot and your dick just fits just right. And so then you want to forego all the other chicks and get into monogamy. Okay. And so I've seen a lot of guys do that. They start dating, 2, 3 women for a month or two, and then immediately jump into monogamy with one. Until that falls apart, because they go back to what Alex was talking about. They go on autopilot, and next thing you know, she's walked for whatever reason, and now you're back to square one. You're back to zero because you gave up all your options. This lifestyle, as I liken it to, does have its pitfalls, and it's not easy. Because like Vince said earlier, and he's quoting me or paraphrasing me because of the way I do things. For me personally, I've done the robot approach where, you keep them at arm's length. You don't really get invested. You don't really get emotionally involved, whatever, because you don't want to get hurt. And that's hollow for me. And so I chose to be like, no, every woman I see, I have some form of relationship with that woman. I'm just very good at compartmentalizing it, that, okay, I do these things, and we talk about these things with this girl. I see and do these things with that girl. And sometimes there's crossover and bleed over, and sometimes I fuck up and, hey, do you remember when? And they're like, no. And it's like, oh shit, that was this other girl.
Yeah.
It happens. But as the more I do this, the better it's become that I'm pretty good at not doing that. Okay. But it still happens. The point I'm getting at here is if you choose this, there are drawbacks to it, because if you get emotionally involved, like I choose to do, they are more times than not, they're at least one of them or more are going to walk. They're going to want monogamy. They're going to want that commitment, and you don't. You don't want that type of commitment. You don't want monogamy. And so either they're going to walk away, or you're going to have to let them go because it's killing them, because they're twisting under the knife. And while I am a sadist, there's only so far that my sadism will go, where I get to a point that, now she's just twisting in the breeze, and that's not what I want. I don't want her to suffer like that. And so you have to let them go. Or if they choose to walk on their own, you have to let them go. And it hurts. It sucks. You do miss them. You do go, God damn it. I wasn't done here. But you have to respect what they're looking for as well. And it never gets easier. And so I do believe, obviously in agency, free will, because I've had multiple women show up in my life where I knew early on when we started talking about, what are you looking for? And I kind of laid it out. This is who I am. This is what I am. And they laid out that ultimately they want monogamy. And I know that goes into direct conflict with what I want. But I also believe you're a grown-ass woman. You can make your own choices. And I know ultimately this is going to end probably not very well. Somebody's going to get hurt. And it's going to be them ultimately that's going to hurt the most, because they thought I would change, or they hoped I would change, or they thought they could change me, whatever. And they realized, no, I'm not going to change. But it still hurt me because I enjoyed their company. I enjoyed the time I spent with them, and I had to let them go. And I do it over and over and over again. And that's something I don't think that gets addressed too much, either because guys don't want the ugly truth about that, or they don't look at it as a lifestyle. They try it out for a little bit, and then they ultimately end up in monogamy. Mm-hmm. But for anyone who's considering spinning plates, if you will, as a lifestyle, which it is, it can be, there are pitfalls to it where, yeah, you may not have kids and if you don't want children, like I know Vince doesn't want children, and I'm not going to have children, and Nick's kids are already grown up. So he's not wanting any future children. So for something like that, we're good. But if that is something you want, then this isn't probably the lifestyle for you. But if it is, and you choose to go all in, that means you're going all in with every woman you get involved with, at least on some level. You're going all in. Somebody's going to get hurt. And that's okay. It doesn't make you the bad guy per se, because you're being honest about where you're at. But it's going to suck when they walk and you were like, damn it, I really liked her, but I'm still choosing this lifestyle. It still hurts. It still sucks. And there are times where, hey, for whatever reason, plates drop off, or they walk, or you tell them to go, and you still end up that, oh, shit, right now, for the moment, I ain't got nothing. And you have to kind of start all over. So keep that in mind, because I don't think anyone really addresses that if you look at this as a lifestyle choice. And I know some guys talk about it as, oh, that would be cool. And it's like, yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
It's cool, but there's
trade-offs.
You've got to come to a point where you can be both honest about what you want and deliberate about getting it. And that's where I think a lot of dudes fail. Because in my case, I'm kind of spurgy about my life. I basically broke my life down into, all right, I've got finance, I've got relationships, I've got work, I've got recreation, I've got health, and I've got personal growth or whatever.
That's not spurgy. That's fucking normal.
And so I looked at all that and I was like, how much energy and time am I going to devote to each one of those things? And so I got to looking at relationships, and relationships includes family, friends, and chicks. And so when I started breaking it down that way, I looked at it and I was like, all right, chicks are 1/3 of 1/6 of my life. And so that helped me put it in perspective for myself based on what I want. But, keep in mind, I was married 20 years. I got the whole family experience. I've got 2 kids. I did all that. Now I'm post that, and I'm sitting here deciding what do I want to do for, the rest of my days. And, basically I want to do my own thing and be alone most of the time, and then fit all this other stuff in where I want it to be. And, I've been able to do that because I was willing to do that. And
yeah, I think
willing, right?
Yeah.
It comes down to accepting whatever comes out of the choices that you make. That's really what it comes down to. You have to be able to accept the outcome of your choices.
Yeah, and to some extent, Nick, what you're describing, I think we all I'm obviously generalizing here, but fuck it, all men compartmentalize their lives.
Yes.
We're really good at doing that.
Yes.
We have to. We're very. It's talking about. Rob was talking about expenditure of energy. That's the best way to minimize the expenditure of energy, is outlining and compartmentalizing your life.
Well, yeah, that's how you bring order to chaos, and that's what we do. We naturally try to bring order to chaos. We find the patterns, we make the patterns, we build the roads.
And what is one force of chaos? You know it. We've been talking about it.
Semen retention.
No, your mom. No, semen. No,
Women?
women are a force that sort of goes hand in hand with semen retention, I suppose. If you're going the opposite route of
If you're a spurg, yeah.
if you're a spurg, but yes, women are an agent and force of chaos.
And the thing that the point where most dudes fail is they're deliberate about a lot of other things in life. They're deliberate about work. They're deliberate about hobbies. They're deliberate about personal growth, hopefully. But when it comes to the, relationships with women part, that's where they end up going with the flow. And it's why most people who do that end up either having to, deal with the whole thing blowing up on them, or they have to figure out how to change that and make that something different and better. And that's where taking control of that and being deliberate about that is, actually being the gatekeeper to a relationship. Most dudes don't have the strength to do that, at least not when they're younger. And then most of them don't learn their lessons as they get older.
Yeah,
and
most guys are fucking lazy about it too. They almost buy into the, independent woman equality because that feeds into their general laziness. That's perfect for them. That is completely perfect, because when you are taming and guiding and mentoring your girl and keeping that force of chaos, you're herding cats. You're herding that cat. You're herding that cat. I mean, that most guys are, one, they don't know how to do it. They think that they don't give themselves permission to do it. And they're inherently lazy about it. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
I can just coast.
I'd be willing to say that most guys think they want to do it, but they really don't.
No, they don't. It sounds good on paper.
Yeah.
It sounds really good on paper. Wow, I want some of that. But when you realize that you do have to expend energy, and you do have to not get into a rut, and you do have to take responsibility for your own actions, and you have to herd your girls.
Well, after it's been, and Rob remembers this because he and I were talking about this before Let Him Burn one night, but, it's 3 years later, I've got this relationship with this girl that I wasn't looking for.
She found it though.
But two things happen. One is she plays totally by my rules, and number two, she's not left yet. And so she does what I want, and she's willing to do it my way. And because of that, you know, that's going, for people who aren't tuned in, that's going to sound like, well, you know, you're just a big jerk and an asshole. And those things are true. But the reason this works is because that's also leadership. And she, you know, she gets a lot out of this thing, and I get a lot out of this thing, but I wasn't trying to, you know, build this relationship with her. I was just, like we talked about earlier, you know, executing a series of events with her that just, you know, continued to grow and continued to go. And now, you know, I do care about her very much, but, you know, it's not because I needed a relationship with one person. It's because over time, she continued to follow my lead on things. And as a result, you know, I'm getting everything I want. So why not? But it's taken 3 years, you know, and I've never, you know, and, you know, I'm with Rob on the whole thing. You know, I'm robotic early on, you know, I'm very structured early on because, you know, I don't give it away, at least not that. But over time, you know, depending on how she responds to that, then, you know, I loosen up. So now I do care about her very much. And I still, you know, I don't tell her I love her or anything, but, you know, I don't need to, because the way we interact and what I bring to her when we're together meets her needs. So she doesn't really get all worked up about that anymore, but it takes time, and it's hard to, it is difficult to hold that frame if you've never done it before. And the first time I started doing this with anybody I was dating post divorce, you know, it was a little bit more of a struggle for me than it is now. But now I know that, you know, if you hold firm, hold fast, then, you know, that's going to be the delineator between the chicks that's going to work out with over time and the chicks that won't, because the ones who can't handle that are just going to leave anyway. Just like Rob.
That's the kind of precedent you want to set, is, you know, this is the way things are, and you're either fine with it or you're not. And if they're fine with it, then, you know, you've set the standard, you've set the bar, you've set the rules, you've set the groundwork, however you want to phrase it, whatever kind of terminology you want to use, and you just go with it. And again, that shows that there is no one way. Yeah,
it's important. It's very important to do that early on. It's once you, not that you can't, but it's difficult to go backwards.
Well, it's almost, if you don't do that right from the start, it's almost impossible to do, because you've already set a bad habit for yourself. And I was telling Vince the other night, there's a chick I met 5 years ago, and I let her friend zone me, and when I realized that's what I did, I just said, all right, see ya. And you know, I didn't talk to her for 3 or 4 years, and then I recently recontacted her, and I'm trying to see if I can turn that thing around and, you know, go back in from a different frame and actually, you know, close the deal on this one. And, you know, we'll see. But, you know, I've learned enough now that at least I know, you know, I know what I need to do to hopefully make that happen. And I'm mainly doing it, you know, just out of curiosity to see if I can do it. But
can I ask a question from, you know, the guys that are older than me on the panel? In your experience, has it come down to you've been in a relationship, maybe monogamous, maybe not, with a woman, and things have been going great, and then, as we discussed before, we get onto autopilot and you fuck it up, just somehow you fuck up the relationship a little bit. From what I'm seeing in my marriage, it seems like I have this one shot, and I know that sounds maybe like desperation, but it just seems more like she's going to look at it in a way where, okay, you figured out that you need to improve yourself. and you do it this one time, and if you fall off the tracks, then it doesn't seem like maybe in her mind that you're ever really going to do it. So do you just get that kind of 1 second chance? If that's how you want to call it. I know that sounds terrible, but
I would say
the wording from me is wrong on this.
Well, let me try to clarify it. So you're coming from a stance she knows who you are, and you're trying to do this thing. So you have one shot to do it, or she's going to look at you like, yeah, you're full of shit.
Maybe not exactly like that, but
all right.
Just in my personal experience right now with my wife, like it seems as though she realizes that I've figured out that I need to step up in certain things, and I have been, and things have been fucking fantastic. But
I have a quick question.
Yeah,
I'm gonna interrupt you. Are you talking about it with her, or are you just doing it? And there's a reason why I'm asking that question.
No.
Yeah, you're just doing it.
Well, it would be more specific, but
what I mean is you're talking about making changes. Now, are you sitting down and saying, "Hey, honey, dear, I've noticed blah 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 blah." Fill in the blank.
No. Yeah,
so, I don't know you. What I'm saying is, I just want to know whether or not you're just going out and you're making these changes, and she's seeing them, and that's working. Which my guess would be that's the way to go.
Yep.
Or you're sitting down and trying to have some kind of communicating heart-to-heart bullshit talk, because that's not going to work.
No.
Yeah, no, it's not a heart-to-heart. There's been there's conversations about
I'm giving you the hallmark. I'm being facetious with the hallmark words, yes. But what I mean is, you're not sitting down and saying, "Look, dear, this is what what I'm saying is, you're not giving an outline verbally. You're just doing the thing. No. You're just doing the things.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's improvements upon myself that I'm going to be doing anyway, regardless of what her reactions to the said things are. But I mean, there are also conversations like, hey, in the future, I'd like to try to do this.
Well, the main thing is that the two things that I found that work the best are, one, you don't bring up any of that kind of stuff, but you can address it briefly if she brings it up and notices, which is actually a good thing. Two, if you do talk about it, it's better to talk about it after you've already done it.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily need to explain, but you just say, oh yeah, I just, I'm, whatever it is, I'm making an extra $2,000 a month now because I think we need that for XYZ, and then just leave it at that and not get into a whole heartfelt thing about it, because that usually doesn't.
You're just making declarative statements. There's no in-depth discussion about it. It's just like, this is what happened, this is what's going to happen, and there you go.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to add to it, couple things. But first one is, don't try to read her mind of what she's thinking or what you think she's thinking, because you can't read her mind. You can only work on you for whatever your reasons are. And it ties into Nick's and it ties into Vince's stuff. It complements those things, but in a way, and it's not easy, but it's simple. And that is, stop worrying about what she's thinking and just focus on what you're doing, and realize she's known you for however long you've been together. And I'm counting before you got married, of course. She sees you a certain way. And if you were the guy that sat on the couch and didn't do shit for 5 years, as just an example, and now you're making these changes, of course, she's going to look at it and raise an eyebrow and be somewhat skeptical, because she's used to you sitting on the couch. Okay. And so she's going to look at it in a lot of ways as, oh, what is this? That's okay. If you know that you're doing it for your reasons and it's not really about her, it's about you, then you'll kind of, I'm like Nick said, you'll just, it's the declarative statements that Vince was talking about. You'll just, I'm doing this because I'm tired of sitting on the couch, whatever it is, but you're not worried about how she perceives it. And that's where she'll realize over time that, oh shit, you're for real. This isn't a joke. This isn't you posturing. This isn't the shit test.
She's gonna watch your behavior.
Mhm.
Yeah, she'll watch your behavior. And if you're just like, I'm doing it because this is what I wanted to do, because I needed to do something different, because I don't like where I'm at, then eventually she'll buy it as long as you keep doing it. And you just have to quell the self-doubt or the mind reading of what is she thinking, because you don't know what she's thinking. And half the time, neither does she. So trying to figure out what she's thinking, dude, that's an exercise in futility.
Well, if you do that, the only thing that matters is really what she does, because women think and feel all kinds of different things every minute of the day, and it doesn't really mean anything, and it doesn't matter when you do this, especially if you're, and I'm not saying that you're like trying to do like a 180 or something. I'm just saying that when you do this stuff, if you're going to take her into any part of the the puzzle, it's just, how does she respond to you doing this stuff? And if you're decisive and you do this shit, it may take a month, it may take 6 months, it may take a year, but at some point, is she trying to make it easier for you so that you can do this stuff? And it's nothing you ever need to talk about, because having been in a lot of these situations at this point, including my 20-year marriage, you'll know if she's supporting it and she wants to, make your life easier so you can do more of that, because it ends up, benefiting her as well. But you'll know. It's unmistakable.
You'll know if she's supporting your sabotaging.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Nick actually kind of nailed what I've been noticing just in my personal relationship. What I've been noticing, because the question I presented you guys is, do you really only have one shot to fix it, right? That's the kind of the blue pill way to put it.
No.
But no, you have infinite almost.
Yeah. Correct.
And that's what I've been noticing. And that's kind of what Nick's been really just touching on there, is just, she'll be as serious as you are.
Well, and it also depends on what you're trying to fix.
Yes. Of course. Yeah.
Because usually in the case of a marriage, if a marriage gets to a point where it's broken in her mind, there is no fixing it. Because once they're out, they're out. And so, I mean, it depends on what you're fixing. If it's just in a rut, not happy where you are in your life, and you're talking about fixing yourself, well, you've got, as long as you're drawing breath, you've got a chance to fix it, as long as you try, so even if you fail, you have more opportunities. But as far as relationships go, that's a little bit different, or marriages. That's why I wasn't quite sure what you were asking. So I've not been married as long as Nick, but I have, if you add all of my marriages together. So there, take that. And I have twice as many kids as them. And that's just the ones I know. So there you go.
I know Raul talks about this a lot, about genuine desire, and I will say this from my own experience and watching other guys crash and burn with this. If your wife, girlfriend, whatever, if she's lost interest in you, it's very difficult to come back from that.
Yep.
You have a dead bedroom, and it may seem like that's not going to work. If there is no, damn, I still want to fuck her, and she's saying, damn, I still want to fuck him, but there's this or there's that. If that core is not there, it's a Titanic. It's a ship that's sinking. It's a ship that is sinking slowly, and you can try to be the captain, but that
ship's already going down. Yeah.
Yeah, that hole is still fucking there, and a lot of guys are going, "Oh no, that's no." I'm sorry, ain't wrong. Thank you for playing. If that is not there on your end or her end, it's not going to work.
Yeah, the whole reason why I asked that question initially is because I thought that it was a very binary answer, maybe, months ago.
Yeah.
And now I've noticed that it's really just not. And like I said, Nick, the way Nick kind of phrased it there is just, if she notices that you're doing it and you actually have purpose behind it, she's going to jump on board with it.
Yeah, you don't have to talk. Yeah.
Well, you'll know because she'll either jump on board or she won't. And if she doesn't,
Right.
there's your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Her
in very
behavior,
basic terms.
your behavior and her behavior, they play off on each other.
I mean,
Yeah.
the two things that happen are you get more decisive and you get more, accomplished, successful, and it doesn't have to be necessarily big, but if you actually take action and do that stuff on your own, then she's either, like they said, she's either going to come out and support it or it's not, which is going to tell you something. And if you in a broader sense, dive, head first into just masculine life and masculine behavior, it should be bringing out more feminine behavior in her, because that's the polarity. And if it's not, then that starts telling you something as well without having to actually talk about it. And what happened in my case with my marriage was, things were up and down for a while, and I actually started doing, a lot of the red pill stuff without knowing what red pill was. It was just trial and error for me, but I started figuring that out, and things did absolutely change in my marriage. And what happened was, when they started changing, I wasn't happy with it anymore because she had done enough things over the years that once I got myself sorted out, I realized if she's not going to come 110% on board, the Nick train, then I don't want her. I don't want to have anything to do with her.
There's more riders for the bus.
And that's exactly what happened. And I ended up just pretty much just being disgusted by her, and I didn't want to have anything to do with her. And then shortly after, she realized that, because it was obvious that, that was the point at which, we separated and divorced. And it happened very quickly by that point, because we'd been married 20 years. So we knew where everybody was standing. And and I'm not saying that yours is in that bad of a shape. I'm just saying that if you go in that direction, or that it's in bad shape at all, but if you go in that direction, she's going to follow. And if she doesn't, there's a reason.
You have your answer.
There's your answer.
And if she does, in my case, it didn't matter anymore.
Yeah, you had already checked out.
Yep. Nick was done.
Yeah, it was basically just, I kind of had this guess in my mind of how things were going to go, and the way things went didn't really map with what I had guessed. So
they never do.
You get to the point where you're like, damn, I'm smart enough to figure this out ahead of time. And then it doesn't, like I said, map out with how you would guess. So I was confused for a little while, but paying attention more and more, and it brings it back to the point of being on autopilot and being off of autopilot and paying attention. Things are actually, they're really on the up, and it's been great.
Excellent.
Cool. Very good. I want to switch gears real fast because I know Doc's been waiting very patiently. Welcome, Doc, to the show.
Thanks. I've been calling the game here, and we're up 17.
I know. You've been doing sports in the background.
This is actually this is actually a game-worn Packer.
Oh, okay.
Thermal.
You do look like an announcer.
I do. I look like an announcer, and I get this stuff. Like there's a place in Minnesota that sells this discount stuff from the teams. But anyway, I'm calling to play here, right? So. Nice. So yeah, welcome. Hey, thank you for bringing me on, and
absolutely
your Halloween. My God, Halloween special.
Jesus Christ!
I'm just looking at myself here in the camera.
Well, Rob is here, so it's a Halloween
special.
No? Yeah,
right.
Well, yeah, for the Christmas special, and no, I've enjoyed listening. I've been married 20 years, and so we got an SUV last week, and the first. So I'm talking to my wife, and we pick this thing up, and I'm telling her, I'm like, when you come into the garage with this thing, you've got to go really slow because it's wider than the car, which we had for 14 years. And and if you take off a mirror with this thing, it's like big bucks right now.
Right.
And she's like, no, I know how to drive. I've driven. I said, I've measured this out. I know the dimensions of the garage. I know the dimensions of the vehicle, and the other stuff. I'm like, so, and then she's like, okay, I've got it. And then I'm like, just take it in, a couple times. Anyway, it was kind of funny because we were out for a drive the other day, and she's like really driving slow. It was driving like a vehicle, but it's very precise how we park. So anyway, Vince Lombardi told me that. And then he backed into his garage door. He's like, damn it.
That
I'm like, Vince.
Right. Oh, shit. So what are your plans for Christmas, Doc?
We have my wife's side of the family is coming up on Sunday. So we already did my side. So pretty low key, just with my wife and kids here. And I'm doing my proof right now for my book. So the publisher said, hey, like your proof the window to proof opens up the 18th of December and ends the 28th. I'm like, right. Christmas is in there, right? Yeah. That's an interesting time to say that you have to do proof. So the proof process, for anybody who's not familiar, is when they lay out the book, then you have to go page by page and basically sign off on everything. And right now we have two issues. Like one is I don't agree with where they're putting the figures. And the other one is something with ellipses where I'm like, I don't know why this is a big deal. Like they're kind of fighting me on it, but those are actually kind of minor things. But yeah, so I'm spending, 3-4 hours a night going through, and I have a checklist to make sure I'm double checking, triple checking the stuff before it goes in, because, then there's no changing it. Right. But we don't have snow. So Southern Wisconsin, that's been in, in the 40s here. So it saved me a little bit of work. But yeah, I am, I'm doing well. Looking forward to the new year. So
you just got to 1,000 subs.
And I woke up this morning. So I was charting this out because a number of you have been putting wind in the sails here, the safety doc. So I was actually writing down like by day how many subs I had and how many watch hours, because my channel had been at about 300 subs for the first 3 years. And it was like a bad Subway, it was just, it wasn't, no one was going there. And then suddenly, Dark Mavis and Bacon and you guys, and, start to mention the channel more, and it was picking up steam. So it was, was I going to get to 1,000 subs by Christmas? And I did. So, cool. I don't have the hours to monetize yet, but I do have over 1,000 subs. So I feel, like that's a great thing,
That's a good landmark.
For the show. I mean, 163 episodes. I just released, a new episode, and they come out in audio, video, and I do a little blog post with them, and so that feels good. So yeah, I am building out. I teach legal classes in fall and spring. I'm building out a spring class and kind of overhauling that one. I think I might have shared with you guys, like the legal stuff when you're in teaching K-12 education, it's all changed like in the last year because nobody follows the rules.
Yeah.
So it's so weird to teach stuff when they're like, yeah, but we didn't submit that report and nothing happened. I'm like, okay, like I know, but if you were to do this with due diligence and meet the letter of law, so what it would be like.
Is that in class teaching, or is that all online?
In fall, I teach in person.
Okay.
And actually my students brought in a birthday cake on my birthday, so that was cool. But
nice. Happy birthday.
Thanks. Yeah, back in November, turned 50. My God.
That's right.
But
holy shit.
But yeah, in spring I teach online, and teaching online it's the same courses, but it's more difficult. It's much easier to teach in person. So but yeah, this is like my 20th year, doing that with the university. So every day in fall when I was over there, it was weird. It'd be like 60, 70, 80 degrees. So I have the windows down, college town, college campus. Just
Nice.
It's like, Rodney Dangerfield and Back to School. I'm just like,
Right.
this is too good.
It's a good gig.
Yeah, it was good. It's
Cool.
good times.
Nice. And your book, if all goes well, should be out April 15th, right?
Yeah, actually, so it will be out April 11th.
11th.
So if they moved it. It was the 15th, which was a Friday. I'm like, who releases a book on a Friday when tax day? And I'm like, so then they're like, no, it's going to be the 11th. And because I'm doing, I have a publisher, so they control that. So there's the give and take on that. So it's April 11th, and it's already, like if Barnes & Noble, Amazon, stuff like that, they've already got it out there for pre-order. So what they did actually is they set the hard copy price high, which because universities, use it for we'll use it for teaching, libraries purchase it. And then the paperback comes in, I think at 35, the hard copy is 75. And I said, well, why not put the hard copy to $1 million? Because then if it sells one, I'll be set. But, audio will come in pretty reasonable. And that's a little bit down the line. That'll be quite a bit lower than the paperback, for example. But yeah, great book. I'm looking forward to it, building out a university course to go with it. So
cool.
Yeah, I have on my wall, I have a 3x5 foot poster board of the cover right next to my first book. So that's kind of the wall of fame over there. And
I'm glad you went with the cover you did.
Yeah, so it was one of these things where they make it seem like you have choice, right? You're like go through all these catalogs of graphics and pick out 20 that you might be interested in. Then they pick 2 out of that, and then they bring in 3 others. But so yeah, the cover is it's a brain with kind of like light coming out of it, and it meets the theme of the book of the velocity of information, because is the light coming into the brain and it's lighting up the brain, or is the brain the source of the light and then it's radiating out, the light being information. So the theme meets well, and then it bleeds off the cover, which is good. I didn't want it to truncate at the end of the cover, and blue was the color. Blue was the color I wanted, because too much green is coming out right now for like computer sciencey stuff, and that wasn't it. And red is too scary, and I didn't want it to like fill into a whole pandemic CDC thing. So I'm like, so there was some planning of that. But yeah, it is at 471 endnotes. And the funny thing is, when they went through, the editor went through, they were like, these are all fine. And that usually never happens, right? Like they have a question on something. And I'm like, I'm not even sure that these are all fine. But if you've gone through them and they look good to you, then I guess we're all set. But yeah, I have graphics that were professionally made for the book, and they were made to the trim size, and they're not making them as large on the page as what they need to be. So they're kind of, the text is too small. So I'm like, I had these made for this reason. Like, we've got to do this. So we'll see where it comes out. We talked yesterday, which was more like email, like, so.
Right.
But anyway, like something we'll give on that. As you guys and anyone who writes, it's a great thing. I started out writing journal articles that would be just a page, and then eventually got in, and I think it's a cathartic process too. So, or even journaling and stuff like that. Just in everything that you do in life, it's a good reflective process. And I write about that too in the book, of like, in people in chaos, like, usually journaled to help them get through chaotic times and to frame their things out. But
that's a way of understanding it and putting it all in order. And once writing about it is almost, if not better than talking about it.
It is.
Yeah.
And all these things that people overlook and forget. So yeah, I'm really thrilled to have this book coming out.
Cool. Congratulations.
So yeah, thanks.
I enjoyed reading the advanced, as it were.
So that's good. Yeah, no, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in college and doing a lot of dating in college. You guys were talking about not almost, but a lot of women that I dated are college girls. I don't know how you'd frame it at that time, but wanted to get serious very fast. And that was always a big turnoff for me. You know, I'm like, what? You know, a month into the relationship and I'm the one and all of this. I'm like, and I remember these long letters, like you want to be like, I think I'm going a different way with this, you know. This isn't and then you get these letters of this compelling of why we should be together and all of this stuff. And it's like and there's a great point. I have a friend who was divorced a few years ago, and then he had met somebody and then it kind of fell apart, and we're talking about it, but then he was trying to convince her that he was worth like another shot. And it was kind of a lot of stuff Rollo talks about. He was saying it almost to the T. He was saying, like, I told her, like, I can help pay off your credit card debts and I can help with your kids' schooling. I'm like, dude. I said, you got to listen to me. We have to have a talk here. I mean, you can't, you're trying to rent space in her life. I mean, if she can't see, want to be with you because you're you, not because you're going to offer yourself as an ATM. But he was spot on with a lot of the things that Rollo talks about. I mean, and I don't think we have these member checks. I don't know if anybody else was telling him as he's saying this to me of like how bad this scenario was, that he was in. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm off on this, but I mean, I don't think you should ever have to be in a position to beg somebody. I mean, this isn't like a marriage he's trying to save or anything. This is a relationship that he had after a divorce. And
it almost makes it worse.
Yeah.
That it's that low investment, or it could be that low investment.
It is. It had a really bad vibe to it, right? And I'm like, so what if she says yes? Like, so you've just acquiesced and, just shoveled all of this into a relationship that might go for a few more months, and then you're always going to have to capitulate. And I don't know. But I don't think somebody, sometimes people can see that. And I go back to this whole thing with member checking. I just think it's a good thing to have, as kind of like right now, but have, people around you who can honestly evaluate things and feed it back to you, whether it be relationships or finance or career stuff, and say, yeah, there's
well, a genuine friend will call you out on your bullshit. I mean, that's what a friend does.
Just generally check in with you.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, you're right on, Robert. And we need to, generalizing, but I think that was there much more when we were younger than it's there today, right? Because if you call somebody out, they're just not used to that, or it's a microaggression or something to that effect. Where, but
it's seen as an attack now. Yeah,
it is seen as
well, just disliking the same rock band. Oh, I really like so and so's song, whatever, and you're like, oh, that song sucks. You're like, you've just attacked me on a personal, deep, emotional, spiritual level. It's like, no, I just don't like that auto-tune crap. It's as simple as that. It's right. But you're right. But obviously that's more people of a certain, I would say more people of a certain generation, but I'm sure all of us probably know guys and girls our ages that get their panties in a twist when you tell them no or disagree with them, or like, I don't really, I don't.
Yeah, that's why we don't talk about Dire Straits live on screen.
Son, sit down.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
We had Jack on for a moment, but something must have happened. Speaking of having your panties in a bind.
I've got a question for the panel.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
No.
if you're if you have a friend whose wife, if you have a friend whose wife and him both agree to let the wife have sex with you, the other guy's not in the room, would you take that opportunity?
No,
Yes.
that's all.
No.
That's
No?
you're asking for a bunch of hurt.
Are we talking Jack Murphy again already? Merry Christmas,
right.
everybody.
Yeah. Right.
I was thinking he should have said, from the heart, cuck you, not fuck you.
Yeah, right.
But, it's what.
A heartfelt.
Mr.
cuck you.
Golden
Yeah, heartfelt
opportunity
cuck
is
you.
what Rob is saying, and I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
Rob Birch is saying.
Yeah.
Somebody who would ask you that, they've got so many problems that they're just trying to suck you into their problems. That's all that's happening there.
If this is a one-off thing, and
No, I wouldn't.
Well,
do that.
you don't.
Providing you're being
I
serious.
don't do
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Well, here's the thing: if you don't want him to be a friend anymore, and
Go
you
ahead and do that. Yeah.
you can't live your life without knowing you fucked her, then yeah, fuck her, and lose the friendship. Sure.
Exactly.
I mean, you're on a pretty beach. You can talk, man. That's easy for you to say.
Where are you, Jack? You're all invisible and shit.
Yeah, I know. I just woke up. Like,
Oh, we don't. You don't want to pull Modern Life John and show your nipples.
no, you can't even see them right now, so that's okay.
Thank
But
God.
I'm still in bed, which I
Oh,
like to
okay.
be in the morning.
That's disgusting.
Where's
you
the
see-
girl?
or the guy. I mean, whatever.
she's under the desk.
I don't think a girl can come over there anymore. I
Yeah,
think
they
she's got to
can.
be home alone, don't you?
Oh no, yeah, we are on lockdown right now, but all
That
the
is Jack. Yes.
the non-essential stores and the non-essential stores are closed. Gyms, everything are closed.
Jesus.
Some stores have to close at 5, and grocery stores are the only ones who are allowed being open. But the government, the current ruling government, already admitted that they did the lockdown only because they couldn't push the 2G system through. And the 2G system is that only people who have a COVID QR code are allowed in non-essential stores. So yeah, it's being used as a leverage. Leverage.
But
Color
I'm
with
gonna be
a
hopping
view.
off for the night, guys. You guys have a good one.
Thanks for joining us, Amos.
I'm gonna go act on that panel question. No, I'm
All
just
right.
kidding.
Take care, Amos.
Mine is go ahead and do it. That's my own opinion.
Do it all.
Jack, when you bring chicks over to your place, do you ever tie them to that weight rack you got?
Unfortunately, it has crossed my mind multiple
Well,
times.
Just do it. Just
How
do
is
it.
that unfortunate?
Yeah,
But no, wait.
It's only
I have-
unfortunate if you haven't done anything about
and
it.
that's what I meant. I have
Okay.
thought about it
There
a
you go.
great
The
many
Smith machine
times.
is great for that.
I know, but I usually just throw them on the bed and things like that. But it has crossed my mind multiple times.
Well, the thing I like about Jack, and we haven't really discussed this at all, but the impression I get from watching every single live stream he does, because I can't look away, is that he spends as little time with them as possible. So,
That is
he
not
definitely-
always on purpose.
He definitely spends more time with his Legos than with his girls, and that's probably
I
how it
support
should be.
that. I think that's not a dig at all. I think that's discipline.
Well, I do have to say, can you imagine women asking themselves why guys would rather play video games and smoke weed than spend time with them? As soon as women as a whole start doing that, then they'll have my attention. But otherwise, it's like, fuck off. I mean, I told Rob this. I had a date a couple of weeks ago, and I mean, I smashed this girl like 3 ways from sideways, and all kinds of debauchery. And it was just pulling teeth to get a second date out of her. It's like, okay, if you have so little self-respect that you let a guy who you barely know just do all these debauchery things to you.
So you're saying you robbed her? You just
No.
Rob says to her and on the first day.
I robbed her of her dignity. But I mean, girls in the West are just like, you're either breeding stock or you are a plow horse. And 9 times out of 10, I'm the breeding stock. And I would like it if I get asked how I've been. And I'm not even, that is not even on the table. It's like dick only. You are only dick, sir. You're only good for fucking and shutting up. That is all I want from you. Nothing more. Don't you think you're better than that?
Jack,
Yes.
how have you been?
Would you like a hug, Jack? Is that what you're telling us?
Hey, look, hey, y'all
Family
don't
hug.
give him
It's
shit.
Christmas, goddammit.
Don't give him shit. Jack is like the one based, Nederlander or whatever you call him.
At least you're saying it right.
So yeah,
Dangerously
it's hard.
close
It's
to
hard
talking
when you're
about
the
it.
only based. When you're the only based individual in a country of about 300 people. That's a lot of pressure.
It is, man. It is. Like you can only the only way you can get a relationship right now is if you're a pussy and the girls are over 25.
Is that because of all the dykes over there?
Yes. I see what you did there. Okay, that one's funny.
So what do y'all do for Christmas over there, Jack?
Not much actually, because we have 2 Christmas days. First Christmas day, mostly spending with my dad, and second Christmas day, I'm gonna watch Lord of the Rings with a good friend of mine, and we're gonna order food wherever it's possible because they locked everything down.
So you're gonna have second breakfast while you watch Lord of the Rings on second Christmas?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're saying you live in the Shire is what you're telling us. You're basically a hobbit.
The province where I live could be very relatable to the Shire. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Ever seen that meme I made about like men over 30 and single, and then you see the Shire, and that's like women over 30 and single. It's like pure Mordor.
Yeah, that's a good one.
One of my favorites. So, how has everybody been? Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Jack. Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah. What are your plans for Christmas, Jack? Aside from being locked down.
He
I
just
just-
told us.
He
I
just
just
told us.
everybody. Now I'm
Why
asking
wasn't-
you because I'm
I
polite.
wasn't-
Jerking off.
I was pulling my pud.
You. That's some
That's what the
weird.
snow-
Well,
I'll
you're the one
tell
laying
Jack
in bed
all
listening
about
to
it
us,
on-
Jack.
I'll tell
So.
Jack on it on Friday night. So I'm gonna hold my house things back.
Our Christmas show is going to be so much more awesome. Just saying.
Probably.
We'll have
What?
super chats and we'll have private members and we'll have all the
Right.
money in the world.
That sounds pretty gay.
and Lambos,
Lambos.
Rob is going to buy hookers.
What else is new?
cocaine.
Hey, I'm going to be on the road Friday, so I should be someplace that has decent internet. So I'll catch the entire red evening for a change.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would be nice.
for
man. You
once.
that could be nice. You can hop on, man. I mean, I'm going to invite Vince over, Robert, Swerve, a couple of guys.
Cool.
I'll
I'll be there.
hop
So what you're saying is that we're just gonna do a continuation of this show then?
So it's
But
going to be a
more
big pile of shit.
It's gonna be yeah. Wednesday pile of shit. Friday pile of shit. We'll just combine them.
Well,
Like
we got to
some
do
kind of-
tomorrow's Let 'Em Burn's gonna be a pile of shit too.
See,
then.
three. It's like
We
some
knew that
kind
ahead
of
of time.
bizarre transformer.
Why is tomorrow's Let 'Em Burn going to be a pile of shit?
Because you're
It's
gonna
my night.
It's gonna be
Exactly.
the continuation
Exactly.
of tonight, and
It's
it's
the
gonna
same
be a
shit.
preview to Friday.
Well,
Yeah.
if I can, I'm going to be in South Florida on Friday, so I will broadcast from the pool. If
Are you an American or Americant?
Yes.
an Americant.
Jesus.
I love that scene from Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Are you Mexican or a Mexicant? Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to shoot the chef.
Rah.
Meh.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that was it. Okay, everybody, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Good to see you. Merry
There you
Christmas.
go.
Bye.
That's all we need. Yeah, exactly. All right, we're gonna call it because it's a little after
The coffee
the
is
2 hour
good.
mark. And your coffee's good. There you go. And Jack's coffee is good.
You know, when
So-
you watch his live streams and you see him drinking coffee out of that, truth cup,
Mhm.
it looks like it's good coffee just by the way he drinks it. I don't know what it is.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's over the wrist. It's usually
There you
just
go.
on the wrist.
That's just what it looks like, Nick, when you drink
It's
sweet
what it
tea instead of coffee.
Well, I have heard about that. That my coffee is just very strong tea. But in all honesty, most Dutch people drink Senseo. I don't know if you Yanks know that.
No.
That's like rat
Why
poison
would
for
we know
coffee.
that? Why would we know that?
Why would we know that?
I don't
I
know.
have-
Like, do you guys are technologically advanced where you have this weird device that you put a pad in and then you push a button and then it gives you quote unquote coffee?
Jack, I don't give a fuck what you guys
Right.
do in Europe.
Who gives a
in
shit?
Europe. That was Europe.
James,
Hey.
you want to give him the patented what is it? Good.
I have a goal. My new bucket list.
Shut the
includes-
fuck up.
My bucket list now includes going to wherever he is, and that Luxembourg or wherever it is, and drink
Luxembourg.
and
He's in
drink
Sweden.
and drink coffee with Jack out of a truth cup.
There you go.
I only have one, so buy one
You have to
yourself.
buy. You have to
Well, I'm
buy
gonna
more.
order a truth cup. So,
Okay, you want the link?
huh? What kind of discount do I get?
Yours is actually more.
yeah, you get less delivery cost. That's what you
Okay.
get.
All right.
Where is
You
that
got to
damn
come
thing?
pick it up, Nick.
Yeah, you have to come.
He's
pick it up.
Jack's going to drink out of it for about a month and then send it to you.
Yeah,
You
you
know-
get the signature version.
You don't
Be all
put
stained
you
and
don't
shit.
put tulips in the box or anything like that, do you?
Fucking pair of clogs.
No tulips or wooden shoes or any of that shit. I just want the cup.
Yeah. The link is in the,
The link's in the
chat.
private chat.
But okay, now that we're talking about coffee cups,
He
like,
thinks
are
I'm
you-
really gonna buy one.
Yeah, of course.
You
post it.
Yeah, I don't
stupid
know which is
bastard.
funnier, the fact that he's whoring the link out or the fact that he thinks you're actually going to do it.
Yeah, no,
A little
if,
both.
If you don't want a collector's item, fine. If I die, that mug is going to be worth millions.
It's
Be
going to be
worth-
worth nothing.
$5.
But since we're talking about coffee mugs, like, are you one of those guys
Canadian?
as well where you just keep using it for a week? Something like that. It's like, I'll just use the same coffee mug for a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes I do have a bunch of
It just
coffee
tastes
mugs I rotate
better.
through. I have one that just says "fucking coffee" on it, which is kind of cool.
But
I have one of those electric kettles where I keep boiling water around all the time, and so when I go in
Boiling
the
water.
next day, I pour some of that boiling water into my cup just to kill any owls or salamanders that may have crawled in there overnight, and then I just reuse it.
Way to go there, Papa Nick.
I rinse it out. Yeah,
Fucking tastic.
I'm trying to kill this stream. If you haven't figured that out yet.
I know. Yeah,
It was dead long ago, sir.
Yeah, yeah. This is the denouement. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is Masculine Geek number 151, the 2021 Christmas Masculine Geek Christmas live stream. So it's a little bit of housekeeping. Rob is probably taking a shit or taking a piss, so we're going to skip him for the moment. Swerve, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at Alex_Costello and then the number 9 because it's the largest single digit number. And I figured that kind of carries some weight. So I put that number on there.
9 inches.
Sure. Whatever gets you off, Jack. Whatever. So you can find me there. I do a lot of shit posting there. I might even post a link to a video of mine that might actually give you a tiny bit of value to your meaningless life. So come and check it out. And you might improve yourself a little bit. I mean, you might be as good as me, which means you're still a piece of shit. So it's fine.
You're all pieces of shit.
Spoken like a true prodigy.
Spoken like
Thanks,
a true
Dad.
piece of shit.
Thanks.
Yep.
My soul
Rob.
is winning.
There you go, Rob. We missed you for a moment because you were pissing, but now you're back to spotlight.
We did not miss him. I've
Well, that's
learned.
true. I
Mom
know.
taught me to not miss him.
There you go.
She did a good job raising you, son.
There you go. Where can everyone find you, Rob?
RobSays.net.
Fantastic. Jack, how about yourself?
You know where to find me. Fuck you.
There you go. Fuck that hippo. You got as an icon too. James, how about yourself?
You can find me on AsherCreativity.com and on Twitter at AsherCreativity.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Nick, what about you? What are you rocking?
You don't want to find me.
That's true. You really don't. You really don't know what he's really going to be drinking out of that truth mug. So. Doc, yourself.
safetyphd.com. That'll take you to all of my shows. And then on YouTube, the Safety Doc. If you can subscribe, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Last but not least, Mr. Robert. Bueller.
Not sure how well this is going to work because I'm on my cell phone because my computer had a certain hiccup. So
no, we can hear it. We can hear you.
Okay, great. Robert Kuzlin on Twitter, and obviously with Masculine Geek and Robert Kuzlin on YouTube, although I'm not doing as much on there, although I might do a live music show sometime over the holidays, so we'll see.
Cool.
Maybe it's cold outside.
That's right. And you can it always is, isn't it? And you can find me here, obviously. I'll be on Jack's show Friday morning for me, actually.
Oh no,
And-
everybody's invited but you, Vince.
you son of a bitch.
Well, I was gonna say, if you're going to be on Vince, I'm not. So
yeah, Red Evening is
You too,
canceled.
Robert. You beer spilling son of a bitch. And you can find me at masculinegeek.life. All right, everyone. Enjoy your Christmases. I will see you guys on Friday and everywhere else. Until then, Nick, take us out.
Yeah.
See.